let me make the necessary adjustments here. Yeah. Okay. So last Thursday, we did the first Dhyan shloka of the stotram. So today I'm going to do the second Dhyan shloka. We haven't still started the stotram. So let me attempt to chant it. Vatavitapi samipe bhumi bhage nishannam Sakala muni jananam jnanadata ramarat Tribhuvana gurumisham Dakshinamurti devam Janana marana dukkha cheda Daksham namami. The translation goes like this. I bow down in reverence to Shri Dakshinamurti, the Lord of the three worlds, the remover of the worldly bonds binding us, who is to be meditated upon as the one sitting under a banyan tree and bestowing knowledge instantly on all the sages. So the first Dhyan shloka gave us a glimpse of the image, the iconography of Shri Dakshinamurti. As you know, this is an avatar of Shiv Bhagwan and the one that imparts the divine knowledge of liberation from the cycle of life and death. The second Dhyan shlok, the Dhyan shloks, as I explained last time, give us an idea of the deity to whom the stotram is dedicated and gives us an idea of his of how his posture is, and everything actually has a lesson for us to learn, what he holds in his hand, and this goes for all the Bhagwans. The pictures that you see are of humans, but they are devatas, and all the iconography, that is how they look, what they wear, what they have in their hands, how they are sitting, on what they're sitting, who are the people and what are the things surrounding them. All this gives us a way of picturizing the deity to whom we are expressing our worship, and so that we can concentrate. These are Dhyan stotram, Dhyan shlokas. So how do we manage to meditate on the deity by getting an idea of how that deity should be looking? Of course, you all know that these are divine energies only. So in the second Dhyan shloka, the iconography continues, describing Shri Dakshinamurti, also gives us an idea of the powers of Shri Dakshinamurti, what powers he wields. And in these powers and in these description, I can find 5 lessons that a Shishya can learn just from this one shloka, which is not even a Gyan shloka, it is a Dhyan shloka. So let's go with it. The first description is Vatavitapi samipe bhumi bhage, meaning that Shri Dakshinamurti is seated on a mound on the ground near a banyan tree. So Vata Vriksha in Sanskrit means banyan tree, and banyan tree symbolizes creation. All right. Vata, by the root vata, means to expand, to surround, or to encompass. So sitting under the Vata Vriksha, the Vata banyan tree, Shri Dakshinamurti is presiding over 3 processes. What are these 3 processes? Creation of the universe, maintenance of the universe, and transformation of the universe. Srishti, Sthiti, and Samhar. Creation, maintenance, and transformation. So this image of sitting under the banyan tree represents that in order to have the powers to create, in order to have the powers to maintain and to transform oneself, one needs the experience, one needs to be established in Shri Dakshinamurti. That means one needs to be established in absolute knowledge of union with the divine. And that is represented in the Guru, Shri Dakshinamurti. So this banyan tree iconography is for absolute knowledge. What can we learn from that? That when we will do our Purusharth, when we will do our purification, when we will become Sadhishishyas, we will experience Aparoksh Anubhuti. Then these powers of creating our divine self, of maintaining ourselves in divinity and transforming ourselves from human to divine will be possible for the Sadhishishya. That's the first lesson according to me. Now, when you reach this stage of absolute knowledge, how will you do this transformation? How will you maintain yourself? How will you create the new you? Because you will be able to do it because you will get two powers. Now, what are these two powers? The two powers are called Tirobhava and Anugraha. Tirobhava means the ability to remove ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of who am I? You'll remove your own ignorance and you'll also get the power to remove. Can some of the volunteers please put them on mute? So you'll have Tirobhava, you will have the power to remove your own ignorance, as well as you'll have the power to remove the ignorance of a Sadhishishya. That is the power, Tirobhava. And Anugraha. Anugraha means once you remove the ignorance, you will be able to reveal the truth to others. So this is a beautiful lesson we are learning just by that Vata Vriksha, banyan tree. So how is Shri Dakshinamurti removing the ignorance? How is this divine presence, which is within us, of course, how are we able to, how does Dakshinamurti's iconography represent removal of ignorance? The word Nishannam in the first line denotes seated, just means seated. So what is the posture of Shri Dakshinamurti as he is seated under the Vata Vriksha? So just like you sit in a chair, the right leg bent at the knee, foot on the ground, the left knee bent at the knee, but with the left foot resting on the thigh of the right leg. So in a like a four picture. So just like a chair, right leg on the ground, left leg resting as cross-legged with the foot of the left leg on the thigh of the right leg. That the right leg ka foot, which is on the ground, is not actually on the ground. It is on the body of a small dwarf on the ground. And that small dwarf is called Apasmara Purusha. Aparasmara Purusha means that dwarf represents moha, delusion, confusion. It represents the deluded self. So by stamping, putting his foot on that dwarf, which represents ignorance, which represents delusion, Shri Dakshinamurti is stamping down on ignorance. The left leg ka foot is also pressing down, suppressing, repressing, removing, eliminating ignorance, stopping it from spreading rampantly into the sansar. And with that, he's controlling ignorance. And all that is the same thing as Tirobhava. Tirobhava is how he is suppressing. So, in spite of all this energy, which is going into stamping down ignorance in the form of that dwarf, If you see his posture, if you see his face, it is relaxed, it is calm, it is serene, it is prasannam. It has a joy of relaxation. There's no rigidity. You know, when if we are trying to press something down, our body will be contorted. We'll be exerting some energy. There will be some rigidity in the body, but not in the picture that you see of Shri Dakshinamurti. Now, here again, there is a lesson for us that if you, whatever work you're doing, however hard that job is, of course, it's a very big job to do nirodh of ignorance. But whatever that job we are doing, if we are serene, if we are calm, if we are meditative, if our posture is relaxed, we will be able to do that work efficiently, properly, and successfully. Going to the second line describes the second power of anugraha. The words are Sakala Muni Jananam Jnana Datara Marat. What is Shri Dakshinamurti doing? He is bestowing knowledge instantly on all the sages. Last time you remember, we talked about that secret way of transmitting knowledge, which is without words, in silence. So here, what it means is that Shri Dakshinamurti is representing, of course, he's an avatar of Bhagwan Shiva, and he's a guru of all the different knowledges possible. So here, 4 different kinds of knowledges are explained. Firstly, Dakshinamurti is a teacher of music and arts. In that form, he is called Veena Dhara Dakshinamurti. Then he is also the guru of yoga, practicing control of body and breath and mind. And in that, he is called Yoga Dakshinamurti. The third kind of knowledge is Dhyan, supreme knowledge. So here he is called Dhyan Dakshinamurti, the Dhyan that liberates you from sansar. And the fourth is the master or the guru of rhetoric, the way of speaking, the way of communicating. In that he is called Vyakyan Dakshinamurti. So supreme knowledge, knowledge of sansar, knowledge of progressing in the world, knowledge of progressing beyond the world. And he is also the guru of the Dev Guru, Brihaspati. You know, there's a guru of Devtas who is called Brihaspati. It is Shri Dakshinamurti who has given Shri Brihaspati the knowledge and the ability to be the guru of the Devtas. So, if you are focused on your goal, you will 100%, when you do your Purusharth, when you do your purification, you will also be able to access this knowledge of Shri Dakshinamurti. If you go to the third line, it's written Dakshinamurti Devam. Bhagwan himself in the form of Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti in the form of a guru is giving updesh to the sages. And these are not just any shishyas. These are rishis. They are sadhishyas. And they have finished their chitta shuddhikaran. And because they have finished their purusharth, their chitta shuddhikaran, instantly, that is saying, instantly, they are able to receive this Brahma Vidya. Okay, so this Brahma Vidya is being given to everyone, but who is going to receive it? That has to be only the Sad Shishya who will be able to access that knowledge which the Guru is giving to everyone. So, listen again. Don't focus on who the Guru is. All the Gurus are the same, but focus more on making yourself the Sad Shishya. Guru also has to be knowledgeable. Guru also has to be liberated. Guru has to also come from a lineage of liberated gurus. But the Sad Shishya also has to be adhikari for that knowledge. So focus on becoming adhikari. You know, my Bhagwan Gurudev always talks about always gives examples. So he says that he takes a matchbox, and so you need a matchbox which is proper, and you need a matchstick also which is proper, and you need this, this top part to ignite. If this top part is not there and you keep having this other side, no matter how much you will strike the matches, no light. No light means no knowledge. And if this is also extremely scratched up and used up, then also no light will come. But instead of using this blunt intellect, if you use this fresh, clean, trained buddhi, and even this surface is clean, then instantly, knowledge will happen. Instantly, right? So that is lesson number 4. Okay. Such a person who has already reached that stage of aparoksh anubhuti, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, who has composed this stotram, calls this Tribhuvan Guru Misham. Tribhuvan Guru Misham. Dakshinamurti is praised as Tribhuvan Guru Misham. Tribhuvan means king of 3 worlds. King of 3 worlds. He is the king of the world, king of heaven, also king of hell. So, king of the universe. Guru, obviously, Guru of the 3 worlds is Guru of the Devatas, Guru of the humans, and Guru of also the Asuras. And Isha means Bhagwan, Ishwar of the 3 worlds. So a person who has attained aparoksh anubhuti rules the universe, rules as a king, rules as a teaches as a guru, and is the creator of the entire universe. So the qualification of the guru is important, and the adhikari-ness or the qualification of the shishya, both have to match. Then knowledge happens, creation of knowledge happens. And finally, Bhagwan says, I bow down in reverence. I bow down in reverence to the remover of the sorrows caused by birth and death. Janana marana dukkha cheda daksham namami. I bow down in reverence, daksham, to the expert of the one who is removing the sorrows of sukh and dukh. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Patanjali says, Sarvam Dukkham Vivekinaha, meaning a person who has no vivek, a person who has no discrimination. For him, everything is a pain. Everything is a pain. Starting from birth, you experience pain. To survive, you experience pain. As you grow, you experience pain. In relationships, you experience pain. When you have a desire, you experience pain. You experience the pain of lack. You experience the pain of greed. You experience the pain of disease. And you also experience the pain of death. Meaning what? Meaning life on earth, life in sansar is made up of pain and pleasure. But even in the pleasure, there is always going to be pain. So what to do? Shri Dakshinamurti says, develop vivek. Develop vivek. Understand what is real, what is unreal, what is illusion. Once that is understood, samaj. Most important thing for a shishya to develop, samaj. When you understand that, when it's like you have a nishtha of that, then no pain Pain will be there, but no amount of pain can make you suffer. Okay? So suffering is, as we always say, optional. Pain is inevitable. So accept it gladly and move on towards your goal. Why are you focusing on the pain of sansar? Instead of that, focus on the Anand of Brahma Vidya. And that is all just given in this one beautiful shloka, which is the second Dhyan shloka of Shri Dakshinamurti Stotram. Think about this, and to that Shri Dakshinamurti, who gives us all this potential power, Namami, we bow down in reverence. Next time I will do one or maybe two Dhyan shlokas, but next Thursday, okay? Om. 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 Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Shridarpanam, Jai Gurudev. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Seema, for chanting. Thank you, Zoom team. God bless you all.